standing.
Heavenly Father, we come before you, Lord, asking that you give us guidance and direction, Lord. We ask that you be in the midst of this meeting, Lord. Touch our hearts so that we can do what's necessary to move our city forward. We ask for all these blessings in your Son, Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Clerk Golick, roll call vote, please.
Markovich.
Here.
Spitali.
Here.
Yawinski.
Here.
Torres.
Here.
Higgs.
Here.
Emerson.
Here.
Warple.
Here.
Rakels.
Here.
Vanez.
Here. Let the record reflect 9 present, 0 absent. At this time, I would like to introduce Ms. Terry Myrick from the School City of Hammond and welcome.
Not only the School City of Hammond, but Bishop Noel and Hass, we really appreciate you continuing this program and continuing to invest in our students and in their future. At this time, before the meeting, each of you received a copy of the scholarship winners along with a copy of the certificate that they'll each be receiving. But we also have something new this evening that I'm going to be handing them. I've been working with Jody Kativa from the Legacy Foundation, and the Legacy Foundation is going to do something different this year. And that is, inside their packet, they are each receiving an invitation to the Legacy Foundation Scholarship Dinner this year. It's the first ever Legacy Foundation Scholarship Dinner. So it's not only going to be a dinner for your scholarships that you're handing out, but any other scholarships that the Legacy is giving. And so they're including this group of students with. And I thought that was really nice. It's on June 6th. And I'm hoping, because in the past it seems like, and I serve on other scholarship committees too, and for some reason students get scholarships, and I hope you're listening, students, and they don't always follow up and come back for the money. And that always baffles me, because if you gave me $1,000, I'd be coming and looking for you. So we're hoping we can have some better communication here and make sure that they get their money and use it for their schooling this way. So, okay, so with that being said, we're going to go ahead and award them. I did not see anybody here from Haston Bishop Noel tonight. Is there an administrator or counselor from Bishop Noel? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see. Right, I didn't see you walk in, sorry. Okay, I'm going to go ahead. If Ashley Kabaki is here, she is the winner from Bishop Noel. Is Ashley here? Okay, I'll make sure she gets it. Then Dr. Egan, I'm sorry, I didn't see you come in, but if you want to come on up and award your scholarship winner and say some nice words. So I can get those tonight. Okay, thank you.
Speak this direction, speak that direction. Thank you, Hammond City Council. Hammond Academy is a very proud member and a very integral member of the city of Hammond, and we are very happy to be here. I am particularly proud of this young man, Gerardo Munoz. He is a senior, obviously, and he has been in our school for 7 years. He is a part of the first class that has been in our school for 7 years. And I'm particularly proud of Gerardo, and I'm going to embarrass him by saying that he told me this year that he's finally found out that school is important, and that he really takes his education importantly, and he's got a great scholarship waiting for him at IU Bloomington. So Gerardo, we're very proud of you.
Ms. Vanez, it's a pleasure to be back again with you this year. Morton High School has 5 winners, scholarship winners this year. I will, in fact, all 5, or well, 4 of mine are here. Come on up, guys. And I'm going to let them introduce themselves and just tell you a little bit about what they're going to be doing in the future as they go forward as Morton governors. And one of our people is Layla Hicks, and Layla is not able to be with us tonight, but she is offering her sincere thanks and gratitude. So we're going to start, ladies first, Lorraine. Right ahead.
Well, I would like to thank the Hammond City Council very much for the scholarship. It was really not seed. I just signed up. I didn't know that I'd actually win. I was really surprised when I got called down. I plan on attending Purdue Northwest this year, majoring in political science and minoring in Chinese and German. And I want to be a diplomat and eventually an ambassador of China or Germany. Thank you. Hello, my name is Destiny Dobie, and I just want to say thank you. I honestly forgot I signed up, but I am truly, truly, truly grateful. I'll be attending Purdue Northwest, majoring in business marketing, and yeah, once again, thank you.
My name is Joseph Colvin. I plan on attending Calumet College of St. Joseph. I just want to thank everyone for the scholarship. Thank you. I'm going to plan on using it towards my schooling and just continue my education. Again, thank you.
Hello, I'm Jeremy Starkey. I would like to thank all you guys for this wonderful opportunity for the scholarship. I'll be going to Purdue Northwest. I will be majoring in computer science, and I hope to graduate with my bachelor's degree.
At this time, I would like to call up Dr. Johnny Goodlow, who is the principal at Hammond High.
Good evening, board members and Madam President. I truly believe it is an honor to be here tonight for such a momentous occasion. As I introduce the scholarship winners from Hammond High School, two of them were not able to be here with us tonight. Ms. Brittany Kaminsky and Ms. Anissa Salcido. Ms. Kaminsky had a family engagement that she had to go to tonight, and Ms. Salcido had another engagement as well. But it is my pleasure to introduce Ms. Tierra Storm.
Hi, I just want to say thank you. I plan on going to Purdue Northwest to major in biology, and thank you again.
At this time, I'd like to call upon Michelle Ondas, our principal at Gavitt Middle High School.
Good evening. Good evening, and thank you for this opportunity. I have two students. I'd like to call them up, Esmeralda Alverde Guzman and Claire Mc. Yeah, I know. She's all-conference volleyball team, National Honor Society president, class president, Hoosier Girls State, mock trial band, and she actually started a peer mentor group for our freshmen this year. With the college-bound scholarship, she will attend IU and major in neuroscience. Congratulations. And Esmeralda Alverde Guzman has a GPA of a 4.26. She's number 3 in our class. And she was involved in a lot of the AP classes, Science Olympiad, and Academic Decathlon. So she will be attending the opposite. She'll be attending Purdue with the College Bound Scholarship and majoring in biology. So congratulations.
Thank you for the scholarship. Good evening, and thank you so much for the scholarship. I appreciate it.
Somebody here from Clark. Did somebody come in? If not, I'll go ahead and announce the winners. The first one is Daisy Diaz from Clark. Is Daisy here? How about Mercedes Salmoron? Mercedes, why don't you tell us a little bit about where you're going and what you're going to study?
Hi, I'm Mercedes. I'm planning to go to IUN, and I want to major in radiology. First, I want to complete my associates and move on to my bachelor's and hopefully get to study patients on MRIs, PET scans, and CT scans. And thank you so much. I plan on going to IUN and majoring in chemistry to be an anesthesiologist. Thank you.
And once again, thank you for supporting this. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Would please come forward. We'd like to take a picture with all of you. And congratulations, our Hammond kids are Thank you very much for being such awesome kids and representing Hammond so well. You're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, especially that one political science major might be interested in staying, a future council person. Thank you very much.
She wants to be an ambassador. She's not.
I got elected. I'm sitting out there in Gold Lake and Reach up there and fighting. Sitting in the back.
Okay. Next is reading of the minutes.
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman Spitali.
the motion to accept the minutes from May 8th, 2017.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Spitali, second by Councilman Emerson to approve the minutes of the May 8th meeting. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is approval of claims.
Madam 2017, beginning with claims dated 5/8/17 and ending with claims dated 5/17/17. Claim number 2894 through claim number 3228 for a total of $6,151,219.97. I so move.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Martin. 2017 through May 17th, 2017. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Clerk Golick, roll call vote, please.
Markovich.
Yes.
Spitali.
Yes.
Kalwinski.
Yes.
Torres.
Yes.
Higgs.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Warple.
Yes.
Rakels.
Yes.
Dines.
Yes. Claims pass, 9 in favor, 0 opposed. Moving on to public hearing.
And Councilman Emerson. An ordinance amending ordinance 7431, known as section 91.036 of the Hammond Municipal Code as it pertains to bees.
At this time, anyone wishing to speak on the ordinance, what is it? 1712. With regard to bees, please approach the podium. You will have about 5 minutes.
I just want to say thank you for bringing this up. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Scott, for bringing this up and sponsoring it. Just want to let everybody know how important bees are. Bees are very important to our environment. Anything that needs to be pollinated does it by bees. So by having an ordinance that doesn't allow bees in Hammond to naturally pollinate things is not a very good idea. I think the ordinance that they come up with is a very good ordinance. I think that some of it needs to be adjusted, but I am willing to offer my time to help with any kind of questions that you guys may have or any services that you need from me. I'm willing to volunteer the time for that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Boris and 6817 Kennedy Avenue.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Charles Snyder, 7130 Holman Avenue in Hammond. Thank you again for bringing this up. I think Councilman Rakels and Councilman Emerson. At this moment, I can go on and on about bees. I've been a beekeeper for a really long time. We had a little chat during caucus, so what I'd like to say and what I'd like to implore the council to do today is to table your vote on this ordinance so that we can reconvene and have a nice chat about what would be most beneficial to the residents of Hammond. And I think we could do that in a more serious and concise manner. So that's what I'm going to implore you to do. And I'd be happy to come back and offer my hobbyist's point of view and my just my opinion and what I've done for the last 15 years and how it works. So thank you for this opportunity, and we look forward to talking about this in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Christopher Mortis. I live over in Hessville. I attended the Mayor's Night Out about a month ago and started the discussion about this ordinance, and I'm happy. I feel a lot of joy that it was responded to so quickly. I've only lived here for about 3 or 4 years, and so it's more than just beekeeping for me right now in this moment. It's that, this is inviting to me to be a resident of the city of Hammond, to start my family here, that, the city responded so quickly, or that Janet responded so quickly, and that this is happening. So I just want to say thank you.
Address, please.
Address is 3106 165th Street.
Thank you very much. Anyone else wishing to speak on ordinance number 1712?
Yeah, George Stoya, Robertsdale.
I mentioned it before, but has any thought been given to homeowners insurance and the scope of coverage homeowners insurance will provide, if it provides any, for this sort of activity? I don't know if it's legally inherently dangerous, but even if it isn't, I'd hate to see the city somehow get roped into, if anything goes wrong, okay? I'm not trying to put a damper on this. I hate to see the city roped in as a party because it enabled whatever and maybe had a duty or whatever the case may be. I just hope that, or wish, I haven't seen the ordinance, so I'll leave it to your illustrious minds and enlightenment to settle the score.
What's your address, George?
Thank you, George. Anyone else wishing to speak on ordinance number 1712? Anyone else wishing to speak on the ordinance? Public hearing is now closed. Moving on to communications. Any communications? Any communications? Communications is now closed. Moving on to committee reports.
Madam Chairperson,
Yes, Councilman Rakos.
Police and Fire will be bringing out 17-11, final passage.
Okay. Any other committee reports? At this time, as I usually do, I'd like to announce the upcoming Community and Crime Watch meetings in the area. On Tuesday, June 6th, the Harrison Park Crime Watch will meet at 6:30 p.m. at the VFW on Homan Avenue across from Harrison Park. On Tuesday, May 30th, the Pulaski Park Neighborhood Association will meet at the American Legion on Goslin. That begins at 6:30 p.m. And those are the only Community and Crime Watch meetings coming up in the near future. I would like to announce that once again, the City of Hammond is offering the Security Light Program. Any qualified applicant will receive a free security light, dusk to dawn light. You must own and reside in your Hammond home, provide proof of home ownership, and provide a valid driver's license or state ID. Applications will be received in person between June 5th and June 9th, only at Hammond City Hall on the first floor, room 115. Quantities are limited, so please don't delay. And thank you to Mayor McDermott, Hammond Community Watch, Hammond Community Development, and the Hammond Urban Enterprise Association for making this program possible. And as I always end the meetings of Edison Community Watch, because community is not just about me, it's about us. Thank you. Committee reports are now closed. Moving on to ordinance, third and final reading.
Ordinance number 17-11, sponsored by Councilman Spitali. An ordinance amending ordinance number 7685, 8200, 8564, 8630, 8645, 8718, 8754, 8755, 8854, 8930, 9017, 9061, 9194, 9252, and 9359, also known as Section 36005B1 of the Hammond Municipal Code as it pertains to approved uses for public safety.
Madam President?
Yes, Councilman Spitali.
Final passage of 1711.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Spitali, second by Councilman Warple for final passage of 1711. Any discussion? Any discussion?
Madam Councilman?
Yes,
I'd
Councilman
like to
Spitali.
have Golick read this 1711, please.
whereas Section 36-00B1 of the Hammond Municipal Code allows 60% of the gaming funds to be used for public safety, which includes appropriations to the Hammond Police and Fire Departments, and whereas, due to the age and longevity, many Hammond police officers will be retiring from service with the Hammond Police Department, and replacements are needed for the services and protection of Hammond and its residences. And whereas it is in the best interest of the city of Hammond and its residents to encourage Hammond youth to remain in the community as Hammond police officers. And whereas many Hammond residents, through no fault of their own, while otherwise eligible and qualified, are unable to afford the cost, $4,500, of attending the Northwest Indiana Law Enforcement Academy without the assistance of a sponsor. And whereas the city of Hammond wishes to create a program entitled Academy Bound to sponsor Hammond students to attend the Law Enforcement Academy, and whereas such a program would be offered to eligible Hammond residents who have documentation of residency for 3 years prior to application and who would agree to remain Hammond residents for 3 years following graduation from the academy. And now therefore be it further ordained by the Common Council of the City of Hammond that the Hammond Municipal Code, which pertains to the expenditure, use, and distribution of Hammond's revenue from riverboat gambling, is amended as follows to add B1I, Academy Bound. In the interest of public safety, qualifying Hammond residents will be provided with $4,500 for the purposes of attending the Northwest Indiana Law Enforcement Academy, provided such sponsored candidates remain residents of the city of Hammond for 3 years following graduation. Now be it further ordained that the herein ordinance shall have full force and effect from and after passage, approval by the council, signing by the president thereof, and approval and signing of the mayor.
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman.
I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor to this ordinance.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Madam President?
Yes, Councilman.
This is a great opportunity for the Hammond young adults. Those families that don't have the $4,500 to go to the police academy. It's a great thing that Chief Doty is pushing to get this to go through. Also, too, this will also help bring in more minorities to our police department.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
District 30% for the growth.
Any other discussion?
Madam Chair Lady,
Councilman Markovich.
it says in the ordinance, 60% of gaming funds to be used for public safety, which includes appropriations to the Hammond Police and Fire Departments. And I'm looking at the ordinance, 36.05, expenditure of revenue from riverboat gaming. Unless it's been changed, it says 60% of all gross revenue shall be used for infrastructure work, and infrastructure work shall be defined as follows: streets, curbs, sidewalks, alleys, trees, lighting, and access walks. It says the 60% shall be dedicated as follows: each of the 6 districts shall each receive 10%, which amounts to the 60%. 10% shall be used wholly or in any of the 6 districts for infrastructure work, provided this 10% may be also used to fund a 10% match of sewer improvement repairs when infrastructure work is being done. We had a discussion in the caucus about collapsing of sewers, and people have to pay for that. So when it's coming from the main sewer line to whatever the boundary line of that piece of property, that's going to be taken care of by the sewer district.
So it says the remaining 30% of gross revenue shall be used for one or more of the following purposes: neighborhoods, alleys, lighting, and the like, citywide economic development, city and public safety capital programs, matching federal and state programs, non-reverting rainy day fund, park and recreation activity, and bond retirement. The total percentage allotment for each of the above listed purposes shall be determined by the mayor with city council approval. The mayor with the approval of the city council shall annually establish an itemized non-reverting budget to include annual revenues to be received. And it carries on, but like I said, unless this ordinance has been changed, this 1711 says 60% shall be used for public safety, which includes police and fire departments. According to the ordinance here, it doesn't state that. It says 60% supposed to go for each district, 10% each, and 30% listed for those 7 items that I listed in city and public safety programs. So that's the only place where it says city and public safety programs. So I don't know if this ordinance is in error, or if we need to change the gaming ordinance, or if it has been changed, but I took a copy out of our ordinance book. Unless it was updated and changed, I don't know if this is a valid ordinance, because it states 60% will be used for public safety, and according to the ordinance, it doesn't say that here. So I think we probably should put this back in the committee, police and fire, and let's get an answer on this for sure, because I don't know where Councilman Spitali came up with the 60% to be used for public safety, because the gaming ordinance only says you can use 30%, and that's split 7 ways. So that's only like 4.5% can be used for public safety, and that's 60%. So I would make a motion that we refer this back to the Police and Fire Committee until we can get an answer exactly what is correct on these percentages where the gaming money can be used for. I so move.
Motion by Councilman Markovich. Is there a second? Is there a second? Is there a second? Motion fails for lack of a second.
Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Madam Chairwoman,
Yes, Councilman Warple.
this is a good ordinance. It's, in my opinion, the correct use of gaming dollars. I think what my colleague is referring to, it doesn't say it has to be used. It says it allows 60%. If it would make them happy, we can amend that in this ordinance to say 30%.
Any other discussion?
Councilman Markovich,
Councilman
Ca-
Vitale?
in caucus first was talking about the age. They weren't kids. Now we came up with this part of the 60%. Basically, it sounds like he is not in favor of this ordinance at all.
Any other discussion?
Madam Chair.
Madam Chair Lady.
Oh, hold on. Who's Councilman Rakos?
I make a motion to amend this ordinance where the 60% is changed to 30%. I so move.
Motion by Councilman Rakos. Is there a second? Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Markovich to amend the ordinance to
Well,
30.
yeah,
Councilman Higgs,
Yes, ma'am.
is something funny?
The fact that he would second the motion now, that's very funny to me.
Okay. So, motion by Councilman Rakos, second by Councilman Markovich to amend the ordinance to show 30% of the gaming money. Is that what it is?
Why not?
Please tell me where this is.
Whereas, in the second paragraph, whereas section 3605B1 Hammond Municipal Code allows 60%,
Okay.
change that to 30%.
Okay.
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman Spitali.
we have Attorney Cantar come in the front, please, and kind of set everybody straight on what's going on here, please.
Madam President.
You have to ask for some.
Councilman Higgs.
Just a whereas.
I guess my question would be is, this is the mayor's gaming, so I'm wondering why the numbers are being changed in the sequence of the ordinance itself.
Yes, Attorney Cantor.
It's under the public safety. If there's a typo in it, it's under the public safety portion of the gaming ordinance. Because this would improve public safety and that it would have more neighborhood inclusion in our police department. And everybody who lives in the neighborhood knows who the bad guys are and who the good guys are, and it's public safety.
Okay.
So if there is a typo in there, I do apologize for it, but this was something that the police department was in a very large hurry to have happen because there is some retirements coming up at the end of the year, and there's a new group, and the academy is starting, I believe, sometime in June or July, and they were in a press for it, and so I'm sure a lot of eyes looked over it and didn't see the typographical error. But it is under the section that deals with public safety.
Madam President?
Yes, Councilman Spitali.
So, Attorney, the 60% needs to be corrected, is that what you're
So
saying?
if the public safety is under the 30%, then it needs to be under the 30%. The ordinance numbers are right, it's probably just a typo.
Okay.
Chris is changing a whereas.
Oh, it's just in the where, okay. Is it correct in the therefore?
No.
Okay, so that's, yeah, it's just. Oops, I'm sorry, anything else?
Yes, Madam Chairman.
Yes, Councilman
Just
Kalwinski.
a question, maybe you can help me with it. Is this just for people who want to be police officers, or does this go to people who want to be corrections officers too?
This is for training for the Northwest Indiana Law Enforcement Academy, and it is designed to replace police officers who are retiring from the city of Hammond in the coming 6 to 8 months. We have a lot of officers who have entered the drop program, and we have some whose drop dates are coming up at the end of 17, beginning of 18, and we would like to replace those officers with a little bit more diversity and inclusion. And there's a lot of people who are good candidates, they just don't have the $4,500.
Madam President?
Yes, Councilman Spitali.
Do we have any vacancies right now?
At the moment, no, but there are some who are going to be leaving at the end of the year. It usually gets closer to the end of the year, depending on anniversary date. But there is a new academy starting, I think it's either at the end of June or the beginning of July, and we're trying to get 3 recruits into the academy as sponsors so that they will be academy trained by the time the vacancies come available.
How long does that academy last?
15 weeks? 15 weeks from the expert.
And is there a projection in the next 5 years how many new officers we may be needing?
I don't have it in front of me, but I have seen the drop list at the last pension board, and it's a substantial list. We do have a large number of officers at the more experienced level, and they will be falling off in the next 2 to 3 years. So this is something that, this is for right now, just for 3, but I could see in future it going forward. It could also be expanded to include EMTs to go into the fire department, because we do have some firefighters who are going to be retiring at the end.
5 years, 10 years, unlimited years?
It's actually, we will only need it when we have a vacancy. So if there's no vacancy, there will be no cadets sponsored.
Any other discussion? Any other discussion?
Madam President.
Councilman Higgs.
Attorney Cantor, so the correct language should be 30% versus 60%.
Correct. Whatever section was with the public safety. Like I said, the police were in quite a hurry to get this done, so it was done hastily. But the now therefore part, I'm sure, is correct.
So you were correct.
Madam Chair Lady.
Excuse me. So, Attorney Cantor, the amendment on the floor right now is to change the 60% to 30%.
In the where.
And that would be valid.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
You made the motion.
Any other discussion?
Madam Chair Lady.
Councilman Markovich.
So all the other 7 items are not going to get any money then? Neighborhoods, citywide economic development, matching federal and state programs, rainy day funds, park and recreation, and bond retirement. If all 30% is going for public safety, then the other 6 departments aren't going to be eligible for any of this money.
Well, they'll have $12,000 less. I think we'll just have to, move things around.
Any other discussion?
Madam Chairwoman,
Yes, Councilman Warple.
this is the mayor's gaming money, correct?
Correct. Thank you. Any other discussion? Clerk Golick, roll call vote on the amendment to change 60% to 30%.
Markovich.
Yes.
Spitali.
Yes.
Kalwinski.
Yes.
Torres.
Yes.
Higgs.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Warpo.
Yes.
Rakos.
Yes.
Vines.
Yes. Amendment passes 9 in favor, 0 opposed. Now for final passage of 1711. Clerk Golick?
Vote.
Markovich.
Yes.
Spitali.
Yes.
Kalwinski.
Yes.
Torres.
Yes.
Higgs.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Warpo.
Yes.
Rakos.
Yes.
Vines.
Yes. Amendment passes 9 in favor, 0 opposed.
Madam Chair Lady?
President Vines, that concludes the ordinances for final passage.
Thank you. Yes, Councilman Markovich.
A statement was made by the fellow councilman saying that I was against his ordinance. So I guess that I proved him wrong by voting in favor of it, voting in favor of, I mean, that was just
Nothing
his
new.
opinion, but, you know, he's not allowed to speak for me until how I vote on the ordinance.
All
So
righty,
I take
Councilman.
umbrage to that.
You change it
saying
all the
that I was
Okay,
against the
Councilman.
ordinance.
All righty, gentlemen.
Who let the bees out?
Gentlemen, thank you.
What's on bridge?
Moving on to introduction of ordinances.
Item 8, ordinance 17-13, sponsored by Councilwoman Vines. An ordinance amending ordinance numbers 3706, 4460, 4920, and 5087, also known as section 34.231 of the Hammond Municipal Code, pertaining to the addition of sexual orientation and gender identity to the powers and duties of the Hammond Human Relations Commission.
Madam Chairwoman,
Yes, Councilman Warple.
move for first and second reading and put in human relations for a committee hearing on 6/12 at 4:45 p.m.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Warple, second by Councilman Rakos for first and second reading of 1713. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 1713 passes on first and second reading, referring to the Human Relations Committee with a committee hearing on June 12th at 4:45 p.m.
Item B, ordinance 17-14, sponsored by Councilwoman Vines and Councilman Higgs. An ordinance amending ordinance number 8514, also known as the Hammond zoning ordinance, for purposes of rezoning property at 6600 Indianapolis Boulevard to Planned Unit Development District and adopting a Planned Unit Development District ordinance for Hammond Sportsplex Planned Unit Development District as a supplement to the zoning ordinance.
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman Higgs.
I move ordinance 1714 by first and second reading by title and refer to finance and council as a whole with intent to consider on June 12th.
Second.
So move.
Motion by Councilman Higgs, second by Councilman Warple for first and second reading of 1714, refer to finance and council as a whole on June 12th. What time?
5 o'clock. You tell me. You had 5 o'clock right there. 5 o'clock, I guess. 5
Thank
o'clock?
you. Thank you. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item C, ordinance 17-15, sponsored by Councilman Markovich, Spitali, and Councilwoman Vines. An ordinance amending and fixing the schedule of sewer rates and charges to be collected by the Hammond Sanitary District from the owners of property served by the sewage works of the district.
Madam Chair Lady,
Councilman Markovich.
I ask for suspension of rules and have the district superintendent, Marty Weekles, come forward and give us an explanation.
Do we have?
Motion for first and second reading.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Markovich, second by Councilman Kalwinski for first and second reading of 1715. Any discussion? Councilman Markovich.
Madam Chair, I'd ask for suspension of the rules for Marty Weigels to give an explanation like what he did in the caucus room.
Motion by Councilman Markovich, second by Councilman Kalwinski to suspend the rules to allow Marty Wilgus to speak to the ordinance. Thank you very much. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Hi, Marty.
Hi, how are you? Good evening. As in a packet that I passed out earlier in the caucus room, the district is coming to the council tonight to talk about its need for a rate increase. The current rate is $1.55 per thousand. An average family of 4 in the city of Hammond uses about 5,000 gallons a month, with an $11.25 administration charge and being billed bi-monthly, because we bill every 2 months instead of every month. That current charge is $26.75 for that family of 5. We're looking to raise that rate by $6.57 per month. So the $26.75 monthly charge, or bi-monthly charge, I should say, would go to $39.89. This amount is needed to sustain the district. You know, our last rate increase basically was in 2009, and like any other business, I have to account for increases in costs of running the plant. And I'm sure all of you know we run 24/7. We never have a day off. And so these are increases that I sat down with my staff, our accounting consultant, and feel very good that these rates should sustain us for several years. But like any other business, you will see me coming back in years to come because of the fact that our entire operation is sustained by rates. We're not sustained by taxes, and a lot of people think that we are, but we are not. The sanitary district is run by rates and rates only. The only thing that's sustained by taxes is the sewer department, which falls under the sanitary district, but it's a separate wing, and it sustains itself by taxes and taxes alone. So I'm here tonight to ask you to approve on first and second reading a rate increase that will go from $26.75 bi-monthly for a family of 4, I should say, in the city of Hammond to $39.89. Once again, that's an increase of $6.57 per month.
Any questions for Marty Wilgus? Any questions?
I would, if I could just add, Madam President, as most people in this room know, we have customer communities. That means communities that the district services that are not part of the city of Hammond or the town of Munster, and that's the city of Whiting, the town of Highland, and the town of Griffith. They are our customers. And we looked at their rates and said they're paying far too little based on what Hammond residents are paying and Munster residents. Munster pays the exact same amount as Hammond because they are a partner in our district. And what we knew, because we had long-term contracts, is that I went to my board and asked them to make a really difficult decision. This was about 3.5 years ago. And I said to them, these contracts are wrong. The district needs more money, and we need to do something about it. We took the very difficult step in having them authorize me to write letters to those 3 communities canceling their contracts. Now, even though I knew I wasn't able to, I had to try to do something to get them to the table and talk about what they were paying. Because I knew I would have to come back to you all and ask for more money because of the fact that the district needed more money. But I felt in my mind I wouldn't be able to do that until I got them to the table and have them pay more. I can tell you successfully, after 3 years of battling with them and after many court cases all the way down to the Indiana Supreme Court, we lost. But we awoke the sleeping dog. And they did come back to the table with the help of the federal government, the US EPA, the Department of Justice. They knew our plea and helped twist a few arms to get them to the table. Both Highland and Griffith had come to the table. We've agreed on a settlement, and they've agreed to pay more. In my opinion, now a fairer rate than what they were paying, and a contract that they had that it would have taken them another 5 to 10 years locked into the old rate. So we accomplished, somewhat difficultly, but we accomplished our goal in getting our customers to pay more. And so now I'm here tonight to ask you to fill in that gap of what we still need to run the district.
Madam President.
Thank you. Yes, Councilman Hicks.
Marty, this is a mandate from the federal government, am I correct?
To be honest with you, we have two things with the federal government. We have since 1999, along with all sanitary districts across the United States, been negotiating with the federal government on two things. One, the first thing would be a consent decree. What that is a document that says that the federal government does not want us to dump and contribute any of our wastewater untreated back into their tributaries. Ours is the Grand Calumet River. That's where our plant's located. That's where we would overflow into. And the federal government decided to do that because of the fact that they felt that they had no control over districts across our country that would dump anytime that they felt like raw sewage into these tributaries. So they decided to do something about it. What they decided to do was come and meet with all of us, and they met with the Hammond Sanitary District, started back in 1999. I think, Bob, you may have been on the council at that time, mandating that we no longer can act in that way. And once again, not only us, but all districts across the country. And if you think about it, it really makes sense, although it's a hard pill to swallow. But, you know, any raw sewage that we would dump into the Grand Cal ends back up in Lake Michigan. Where do we get all of our drinking water? Lake Michigan. So we look at it and we say, you know what? The right thing to do is to try to figure out what improvements we need to do to the plant so that we eliminate and cut down the number of times that we actually have to go into the Grand Calumet with raw sewage. And that's what the federal government's goal was. And with us, under our agreement, we're looking at about 4 times a year now that we will legally be allowed to dump into the river without any great fines or penalties. That's the reason many years ago, about 4 or 5 years ago, we came to this council and asked for bond money, about $73 million, to be able to construct the basin off of Columbia Avenue that we have, which holds 33 million gallons of raw wastewater and stormwater, so that we can let the plant slow down during heavy rainstorms and then treat that by draining it back into the plant so it's treated. Other than in the old days, that would have all gone into the Grand Calumet untreated. So that's the whole goal, Councilman, between what the federal government wants. This rate increase that I'm talking about today gets the plant flush, the sanitary district flush in the black. We have 17 years to accomplish the goal set out by that consent decree. And the number really hasn't been fully confirmed yet of what that dollar amount's going to be. But I have been talking to all of you for over a year now that is coming, and it'll probably be coming in a few years from now on a scheduled plan of different things I need to do to the plant to meet the federal guidelines that consent decree that we signed, my board approved, our board president signed, to be able to accomplish those goals. So to answer your question, this rate increase is to get the district into the black for the next 3 years, 4 years. And then after that, I'll come to you with a plan layout for the next 17 years of how much money we have to spend each year and what that will relate to in rates at that time.
Madam President.
Yes, Councilman Kowinski.
Marty, the current Hammond rate, how does it compare to other municipalities in Indiana?
Included in the packet that I had handed out to you earlier in the caucus, we currently are the lowest in the state of Indiana, and with this rate increase that I'm asking for tonight, we will still be the lowest in the state of Indiana. We're very blessed in running a very efficient plant. We, like our sister water department, that charges you 46 cents per thousand, as you know, they are the lowest in the state. So between the sanitary district and the Hammond Water Department, we too are the lowest in the state of Indiana. And even by this rate increase, we will still be the lowest in the state of Indiana. And I think I just need to mention that that's current with this rate increase, current today. These other communities are in the midst of their own rate increases as we speak. So the chart that I handed out to you today, when we update it in another year or two, you will see now just how much farther they've jumped up and where the Hammond Sanitary still will be always the lowest in the state of Indiana. I can literally triple the rate today and we would still be the lowest out of all major communities throughout the entire state of Indiana.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Madam Chairman?
Marty? Yes, Pete, Councilman Torres.
The ordinance here says, of course, the operation, maintenance, and replacement. You stated that you're just going to be in the black. In other words, second district has got a lot of crumbling sewers, and you can see a lot of streets that have a lot of patches that they keep patching up, and because there's some kind of problem with the sewers, they keep on sinking. You're not going to be able to repair some of the sewer systems in the city, are you?
Councilman, what we do in the budget that I put together every year, I set up usually about $500,000 aside out of my budget for what I would call emergency repairs. That's minimal. I mean, as you know, a whole block could cost you even more than that, but it's what we have to work with. And currently, we have an emergency repair that we're doing right now up in the 1st District on Myrtle Street. That entire block, 80 homes affected, because the sewer system is so old, it's collapsed and falling apart where it won't allow any flow or minimal flow back into our system. So we don't do repairs like you're asking for, Councilman Torres. We do emergency repairs. And even though the district is struggling, I had to go to Councilman Kowinski to help with that. That repair on Myrtle Street's a little over $300,000. It's a lot of money. And if you look at it, I'm putting $500,000 aside to cover the entire city for a year. I would have to be coming in, to meet your request, at a much higher increase in rates, and I don't think that I feel comfortable in doing that at this time. And as you know, when gaming came around, street repair, sewer repair, water main repairs on those blocks as the street was being done were all covered, and gaming paid for all that. Well, those days are coming to an end, and I understand it, and the water department understands that. But our city is very old, and it was put together in pieces over the last 100+ years, and our system is old. And the water mains are in parts of the city just as bad as some of the sewer mains. And so we understand that, and I know you and I had a really good conversation several weeks ago on that subject. It's just something that's part of reality. We're going to have to figure out how we address that. But the days of having the excess funds that used to go to repair those when you're doing a street are just no longer there anymore. So we're going to have to figure a different and better way to do that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Marty?
Madam President?
Yes, Councilman Spitali.
Marty, with the volume that we have now.
Councilman, in the microphone, please.
With the equipment that you have now, as far as pumps go, for the volume that we're using, will we have to increase the volume on the pumps, bigger pumps to do what we need to do with this, or are the ones you have adequate?
It's a good question. When we came to you several years ago, when we were getting ready to build the basin, the initial cost estimates came in at about $73 million. Because of the downturn of the market at the time and just things becoming less expensive, that basin ended up costing $43 million, substantial savings to the taxpayers of the city. I was approved through this council $73 million, which is part of a bond issue. So I have a little over $10 million left out of that bond that I could use to start some of these major improvements. Part of the plan that I have laid out with staff was to start at headworks and to increase those pump sizes so that we can pump more water into the plant. But you have to remember, our plant is only rated for 43 million to come into the plant. At any given time when we have these, what I call now monsoon rainfalls, we can get up to 100 million coming into the plant. We can sustain that for about an hour and a half before the plant starts telling us it's gotten weak, it can't handle that volume anymore. So that's when we start going into the basin and start filling the basin and getting creative and doing a variety of other things. We actually would flood the plant before we ever think about ever flooding a basement. And I just want to say that we've had some very heavy rains here the last several months in very short periods of time. And we have had 0 basement backups. Not a one.
Thank God.
So I think it goes to show what we are doing is working. And I'm very blessed to have people who work for me that have been with me 20 plus years. Jeff Massey, who's sitting in the back, is a part of that major plan. He's been almost with the plant 20 plus 25 years or so. It's because of that knowledge and these guys who work really hard. Surely it makes my job a lot easier. Makes your job a lot easier that you're not getting those calls about my basement. And surely it makes the mayor very happy that he's not getting calls to the mayor's office. But all the things we're talking about are things that have to happen because of the fact that our plant is so old. And it can't continue to go without regular maintenance, that the kind of facility that we have that was started in the late 30s, early 40s with what I call headworks. It was a pump house that was first built to pump everything to one section, to pump it then directly into the river. So it got it out of everybody's homes. That's how it was originally designed. And then as time went on, different processes were added for treatment. The plant grew, and as we added on customer communities and the town of Munster, we just kept expanding, but those expansions were over decades of different time periods. And so as most of you have taken a tour through the plant, which I always welcome, you had a chance to see just what we do. We take in the most dirtiest water you can ever imagine from across this great city, Munster, Highland, Whiting, and Griffith. And through the process, by the time we put it back in the Grand Cal, it's crystal clear, as you have all seen. And it's phenomenal because it's been so clear, and we have been doing so well, that we actually have trout that come up and spawn, almost trying to get into the plant through the outfall. They come back every year. It's truly, truly a change from what I remember as a kid growing up here of what that river used to look like. So I feel that we all have a very important responsibility to do things now and over these next 17 years with this mandate by the federal government, so that 30, 40 years from now, the people who come after us will say, you know what, they did their job. They made very difficult decisions, but they did their job where they're not dumping into the river and back into Lake Michigan where we draw our water. And as you know, the Hammond Water Department is a tremendous asset to this city. It has far more customers than I do at the sanitary district, and it makes a tremendous amount of money on that return by selling to those customer communities, especially those customer communities that are across the state line in the state of Illinois, because they're not regulated by a fixed rate. So why would I want to continue to do things to try to pollute it? Or why would we want to continue to do things to try to pollute it? It all makes sense to me. But I know it's painful sometimes, and I know that anytime you see me standing here at this podium, you know it's not going to be good because I'm going to be asking for money, but we're doing all the right things. and we have a great plant. And I know you all have had a chance to see it in its operation. So tonight, I'm asking just for enough money to get me through the next several years to stay flush, and also have some surplus money to continue to do the emergency repairs. And then as we move ahead, I'll be coming back before you and Mayor McDermott to talk about what our future looks like and what we need to do in base of this consent decree, and probably at that time and negotiate a long-term control plan.
Thank you.
Madam Chairwoman.
Yes, Councilman Walker.
Marty, if we decided that we didn't want to go from the lowest rates in the state to the lowest rates in the state and didn't pass this, what would happen?
Well, if you don't pass this rate increase that I'm here talking about tonight, the district would continue to go farther into the red. And right now I'm shuffling things around to make things work, but it would get worse. And the district would be, I'd be coming here next then to tell you that not only do I need now a much larger rate increase, I'm so far in the red, we have major problems. And I never want to be the district manager that comes to you to tell you that. I'm not like that. I won't do that. I would rather address the problems as they are approaching me, come up with a solution to be able to give it to you and tell you exactly what I need to do the things I need to do at this plant. We are the only entity in the city of Hammond, the only entity that is rate-based for what we do. If you look at our budget, we're almost at $20 million. Compare that to the city budget. I mean, what we do there is phenomenal, and we're a great asset to the city, just like the water department. These communities, to try to get a permit to build a wastewater treatment plant is never going to happen. The federal government will not allow any more wastewater treatment plants. They want the current ones that are in place to become not only more efficient, but to be able to handle more volume. And that's exactly what we're being asked to do. So 46 million was rated when we were 20, 30 years ago. We've grown. We have heavier rainfalls, and we collect pretty much all of that water. I mean, we're not completely separated in the city, as all of you know, but a part of my plan with this long-term control plan is to start looking at that and to spend money to be able to do that, because the more storm water I take out of the stuff I have to treat, then I end up paying less to treat stuff I shouldn't be treating, like storm water. But when it all gets mixed in, I got to treat everything. There's no way to separate it. I got to treat every 100% that comes into the plant. Just like when it starts to overflow into the Grand Cal, when that basin is filled at 33 million, federal government says, you got to chlorinate that. We just don't want to go on raw, even though all of the solids have already floated down to the bottom of the basin. It's just a liquid now flowing in, as compared to years ago was everything flowing in. We still have to chlorinate that. So everything that we have done, we have come a long way in a very short period of time of meeting these requirements. And you got to remember, since 1999, when Mr. Golick sat on the council, we have been in negotiations with the federal government. We are one of the last districts to sign a consent decree, because I wanted to make sure that I was able to come to you and the mayor and say, Mayor, this is the best deal we could get, and here's how long we've been working on it. Many hours in Chicago, many of hours at the plant, meeting with all of these agencies. And believe me, when you're sitting across the table from the Department of Justice, you listen very carefully what they're saying, because it's not a game. So tonight, I hope I have your support, and I think that we've whittled the numbers the best we can. The district doesn't spend foolishly. It's not overstaffed. We have a lot of automation that's been put in over the last 10 to 15 years, and the plant's going to grow because of having to accept more water and to hold more and dump less into the Grand Cal. So these are the things that I'm going to need to do. But this first rate increase is just to get us back into the black.
Just so you know, you got complimented, and I took it as a compliment when at the solid waste, we were discussing this at the solid waste district, and we were told, as the three of us on the solid waste thing, that Hammond has the cleanest sewage in the state. So take that as a compliment.
We do. We, as I said, you all saw what comes into the plant, and you see what we put back into the Grand Calumet. and it's crystal clear. Mayor told me one day, I said, Mayor, it's so crystal clear you can drink it. He said, I'll tell you what, you take the first glass, I'll take the second. But yes, it is. And once again, thank you for allowing me to come up here and plead our case for the district. And I hope I have your support.
Good job.
Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you. Any other questions? All righty, I need a motion to go back to the regular order of business.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Markovich, second by Councilman Kalwinski to return to the regular order of business. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, gentlemen, we have before us first and second reading of 1715, referring to council as a whole. Is that correct, Councilman Markovich?
Correct.
With a committee meeting on June 12th,
Public hearing on June 12th.
public hearing on June 12th, and a committee meeting?
We could set one up at 5:15 on that date also.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Any other discussion? Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 1715 passes on first and second reading, referring to council as a whole, with a committee meeting on June 12th, 5:15 p.m., and also a public hearing.
President Vines, that concludes the introduction of ordinances.
Thank you very much, Clerk Golick. Clerk Golick, I do need to ask you on 1714, did I mention intent to consider?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. I hadn't made note of that, and I wanted to make sure. Thank you. Moving on to resolutions, there are none. New and unfinished business. New and unfinished business?
Madam Chairman,
Yes, Councilman Torres.
I need a letter sent to redevelopment to identify any other lots on the 1200 through 1500 block of Sherman Street and Summer Street.
Identify ownership?
See if they own them or not, yeah.
Okay.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Torres to have a letter sent to redevelopment to identify the properties, the 1200 through 1500 blocks of Sherman and Summer. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Any other new and unfinished business?
Madam Chairman,
Yes, Councilman Torres.
I need to call a committee meeting on the streets and alleys and ask for the presence of the engineer and also the Public Works. And if I may have it on the 31st, which is Wednesday from this Wednesday at 5:30.
Councilman, that evening is Mayor's Night Out.
Yeah. Oh, boy. How do I ask?
Or do you want to do it earlier?
No, because you're in the committee and you don't get up to that time. Okay, I remove the claim.
Okay.
Motion.
Okay. Righty, any other new and unfinished business?
Madam Chair Lady,
Yes, Councilman Markovich.
this past May, a couple of weeks ago, they had referendums for school boards in Munster Lake Station and East Chicago. And last Wednesday, I was at a meeting, Hessville Democratic Club, and Councilman Rakos was also there, about 35, 40 people. And we had the three members from the school board there, Deb White, Mamala, and Murphy. And I asked the question if Hammond was planning on doing a school referendum. And didn't really get an answer other than the fact that they were hiring a consultant. Now, you know, in the past with these other school referendums, when they hire a consultant like they did in Munster, they hire what they call a hired gun. They pay somebody like $100,000 to organize a referendum so they can get it passed in their favor or against them. So I would like to have a letter sent to Deb White, I guess she's the chairman or president of the school board, to have her attend the next council meeting and give us any and all information whether they are planning on doing a school referendum in the city of Hammond. If and when they're planning on doing it, I'm hearing rumbles on Facebook. Somebody said they saw something on the newspaper Sunday. I couldn't find anything. But there's, you know how Facebook and social media works, that you start a rumor and sometimes those rumors become true. So maybe we need to find out for sure if in fact that's what they're planning on to do, because I can recall last year at the election for the school board, they got up there and says we're financially fit, we don't need any money and so forth. And I just want to know, I want to hear it from the horse's mouth, if in fact that they're planning on doing a school referendum. So I would like to have a letter sent to Deb White to appear at the next city council meeting and bring any and all information regarding if they are planning on doing a school referendum, and keep us informed on what their plans are and what's going on. I so move.
Second. Motion by Councilman Markovich, second by Councilman Higgs, to have a letter sent to Debbie White, president of the Hammond School Board, to attend the next meeting of the Hammond Common Council.
Madam Chairwoman,
Yes, Councilman.
my only question is, do they have meetings on the same night we do?
That I don't know. I think they do sometimes.
Is it every 2 weeks like ours, Mary Ellen?
Just for this month. They're back to their regular schedule next month, which will be the first and third Mondays. But just for this month, they changed it because of conflicts of interest with some of the board members. I just came from the school board meeting.
But, well, Madam Chair Lady, now,
Councilman Markovich?
I would ask for suspension of the rules to ask Mary Ellen if she said she attended that school board meeting tonight, if in fact anything did come up about a referendum, or if she has that information. I so move.
Motion by Councilman Markovich to suspend the rules so Miss Mary Ellen Slazak can talk about what she heard at the school board meeting. Second. Second by Councilman Higgs. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Clerk Golick, roll call vote, please.
Markovich.
Yes.
Vitale. Kalwinski.
Yes.
Torres.
Yes.
Higgs.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Warple.
Yes.
Rakels.
Yes.
Vines.
No. Motion carries 7 in favor, 1 opposed, 1 absent. Ms. Slazak?
For clarification, usually their meetings are the opposite Mondays of the council, but for this month, they did schedule them in conflict, and I just came from it. There was nothing on the agendas at the past few meetings about any kind of referendum, but I have been hearing rumors that there will be. They are saying that they're good, but then they're not good financially. It's very conflicting. I am keeping an eye on it. I do attend all the school board meetings. That's why I'm late tonight, because I was at the school board meeting at Jefferson. Supposedly they do have extreme money problems, but yet there is the problem with the consultants. It's a constant thing, which I believe, in my opinion, it's a waste of money. If something does come up and I do hear something definite, I will definitely let this council know, because this affects everybody in Hammond. It doesn't affect just children in school, their parents. It affects all the taxpayers. I certainly do not want to see my property tax go up, but right at this time, there is nothing in the works from what I can tell, and from what is in the agenda and from the inside information I am getting. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Chair Lady?
Yes, Councilman.
In that letter for clarification, if in fact that for some unforeseen reason that Deb White cannot attend, that the school superintendent or another representative would appear at the council meeting to answer our or give us information. Thank you. I so move.
I make a motion, we go back to the regular order of business.
Thank you. Motion by Councilman Rako, second by Councilman Higgs to return to the regular order of business. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Councilman Markovich, second by Councilman Higgs, to have a letter sent to, Councilman, tell me if this is right, Dr. Watkins, Deborah White, President of the Hammond School Board, or any other representative from the school board to attend the June 12th City Council meeting to discuss the possibility of a referendum.
Correct. Deb White is the president, but like I said, if for some reason she cannot attend, then school superintendent, Dr. Watkins, or their
Well,
designee.
I asked for the letter to go to him, to her, and the rest of the school board.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Any other new and unfinished business?
Madam Chairman,
Yes, Councilman Torres.
I'd like to move that meeting I mentioned with, from streets and alleys
Okay.
to June 7th at 3 o'clock. And invite the engineer and the Public Works Director.
And the committee?
Yes.
Okay.
And the committee, of course.
Okay. Motion by Councilman Torres. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Emerson, for a letter to be sent to Engineering and Public Works regarding a Streets and Alley Committee meeting on June 7th at 3 p.m. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
None.
Was there an opposition? Okay.
What are you doing?
Thank you. Motion carries. Any other new and unfinished business? I would like to announce that coming up this Wednesday, May 24th at 5:30 p.m. At the police station, 509 Douglas, or in the event of rain at the Civic Center, there will be the annual Police Memorial Service. This is an opportunity for our local state police officers, survivors of fallen officers, family, friends, officials, media, and community members to take part in prayer and reflection regarding fallen Hammond police officers killed in the line of duty throughout history, and officers nationwide who lose their lives daily as a result of their bravery and service to their respective communities. The inherent risk that officers experience by pinning a badge onto their chest is something frequently understood outside of the law, infrequently understood outside of the law enforcement community. The memories of our fallen brothers and sisters continue to live in our hearts each time we head out into our respective communities to do the job they once did. Their spirits are with us during every shift. So that is Wednesday, 5:30 p.m. at the Hammond Police Department in the event of rain at the Hammond Civic Center. And let's show honor to those who serve and protect us. Thank you very much. Any other new and unfinished business?
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman Emerson.
I'd like to point out that a week from tonight is from today is Memorial Day, and Hammond Mohawks Parade is every Memorial Day in North Hammond from the Cavalier Inn to I want to say St. Stan's, Casimir, sorry. And just a reminder that Memorial Day is for everyone that was killed in our many wars that we've had, and we honor them. And November 11th is Veterans Day, and that's for people like Councilman Spitali and myself. So thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll see everybody there. Any other new and unfinished business? Any other new and unfinished business?
Madam Chairwoman,
Yes, Councilman Warple.
a couple of weeks ago, I was asked by yourself to find out about what happened to the shredder that we had at the recycling
okay.
center. And
Excuse me one moment. Anyone in the audience wishing to speak during public expression, please sign on the sheet in front. I saw the gentleman raise his hand, that's why I interrupted. Thank you. Sorry, Councilman.
It's my understanding that the attorney for the Solid Waste District will be sending us a letter, but basically the explanation is when we had the recycling center on Conkey, a $250,000 shredder was purchased by the Lake County Solid Waste District. I don't know how it happened, I wasn't on the board, but somehow it got put in that building. When that building got sold, the new owners of the building, it's my understanding, kept it there for a while and then didn't want it there no more. So the Solid Waste District took it out to Crown Point. And the reason they took it to Crown Point, the government center being more centrally located, I asked what the chances of that being brought back to Hammond. It's not a Hammond item. It was something the Solid Waste District did, and we agreed to take it when we had the recycling center. So the moral of the story is if you have something you would like shredded, you could take it out to Crown Point. But I was also told that it could be collected at our Public Works Department and that the Solid Waste District would come and pick it up on a routine basis. Now, I'm assuming they mean whatever documents you got here, we'll collect them here and shred them later, so I wouldn't recommend that, but
Do you happen to know where in the government center and what the phone number would be that?
I can find that out for you.
Okay.
Cliff Dugan, who is the attorney, will send the council a letter to explain all that, but just I was responding to a question I was asked.
Okay, because Staples will shred at $1 a pound. Quite expensive. Any other new and unfinished business? Any other new and unfinished business? New and unfinished business is now closed. Public expression. The first speaker of the evening is Charles Snyder. If you would approach the podium, we need your name, address.
Charles
and
Snyder,
we'll
71.
have 3 minutes, sir.
7130 Holman Avenue. Again, I'm here because of the B ordinance, 91.036, and the amendment to that ordinance. And I, again, implore the council to shelve that ordinance this evening and look forward to having further discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Jason Hawkins.
All right, public expression. Here we go. Jason Hawkins, 6221 Kennedy Avenue, Hammond, Indiana. I am of the 35 to 40 people in this room. I'm friends with 6 of you on Facebook. And so I think it is not unclear at all as to where I stand, that I believe Jesus Christ is the Lord and Savior of all people, and that his message includes inclusion of all and equality of all. And I'm not sure what it means with the committee hearing with regards to 1713, but I'm from Hammond, born and raised, and Hammond has always been a place I'm glad to call home and proud to call home, and you guys never cease to amaze me. I'm very proud of you guys for having this amendment, or this ordinance for the Human Relations Committee in Hammond, and I hope you guys pass it, and that's that. So.
Thank you, Jason. Next speaker is Colonel Daggett. We'll have 3 minutes, sir.
To this council, always good to have an opportunity to speak to you. It occurred to me on my way home this evening.
And your address, please?
33 Condit Street.
Thank you.
Okay. Occurred to me this evening as I was going home that I had not come back and thank this council for its quick response. Some time ago when I came before this council, and in regards to some of the things that was happening in my home, and I was so thankful to all the departments that got involved and really assisted in what was going on there. Professionalism was just amazing. I received a letter from Mr. Buttons that I thought was a very thoughtful letter. The sanitation people were just excellent. They really got on top of it. We needed to have a tapper restored to the lateral. Some of you may remember what the issue was. But, you know, we complain when things go wrong. We complain when we don't believe that our elected officials are doing what they're asked to do. But when it's done and the proficiency is there, we need to stop and take a moment and say thank you. Particularly, I'd like to stop and thank Councilman Higgs, his willingness to deal with the issue right away when I brought it to his attention. And I want to take a moment very quickly. Councilman, can I ask you to come for one second, please? Can I present you with something? This is a military coin from 2nd Cavalry. Takes a little while to come from Germany, but we wanted to take a moment and thank the councilman for his willingness to reach out and help a veteran that was in need. That's a 2nd Cavalry coin that's pretty highly coveted within the military service. But we want to just thank you for taking that time, because helping one veteran helps all veterans. And we appreciate your willingness to do that at that particular time. We need to stop and say thank you. And we appreciate what this council is doing. And I know you would have done it for anyone else who had come before you, but my family are just particularly appreciative. We also want to thank Councilman Markovich for his willingness to second the motion at the time that Councilman Higg offered to suspend the rules so we could get this done. Again, I thank the sanitation department, and I want to thank the mayor, because I thought the professionalism of all the departments working together to make it happen for us, we really do appreciate it. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's nice to be in the business of the compliment department for a change. Thank you very much. Mr. Gary starts with a B. From Locust Street in Hammond. Your name and address, sir?
My name is Gary Baker. I live at 542 Locust Street in Hammond for 40 years at the same place. And I would like to ask the council, city council, to reconsider closing all the pools, maybe leave one pool open. One of the reasons why, special to me, is my wife is disabled. That pool has been a godsend to her. She's got back issues, leg issues, really bad, spinal stenosis, and it helps her immensely. Now, if she was to go to the Civic Center, my grandsons always go with her to help her. And they couldn't go there. And I'm thinking, at least keep one pool open. I live half a block from Edison's pool, and we can spend money on bike trails, bridges to go over Columbia Avenue and 165th, and splash pads and big fancy parks. Keep one pool open. There's nothing for the elderly in this town. Everything's for young people, which is fine. But in the case like this, and for me to pay for my wife to go to Munster, to go to that pool, is $140 if I do it before Wednesday. Can't afford that. And I'm asking you to reconsider. Edison was closed last summer. Nothing's been done to it. I've sent a letter to the city council, or an email, to the mayor. I just got a response from the mayor both times. And this is something special to me, and I know of a lot of other people that feel the same way, but are whatever reason, this is the first time I've ever come to a city council meeting. I kind of see what it's like now. I've spoke to a few councilmen here already, and my own councilman a year ago was adamant about they're going to close, they're non-productive. You know why they're non-productive? Because everybody here made them non-productive. You got to have a pool pass to go to the pool. There's kids coming with their parents or grandparents. They want to go swimming. You can't go swimming, you don't have a pass. That's because of you people. You made it, and then I heard from one city councilman that there was probably theft involved. It's one of the reasons they quit doing that and started doing passes. Fire the person that's stealing and get somebody that will help. This is a city thing. And I feel very adamant about this, and I'm kind of hurt and angry at the same time because it shows up in the paper and the mayor says, oh, it cost $1 million to pool them. You know what? Take parts from 3 pools to make 1 pool. Spend $1 million if that's what it takes and keep it up. We do everything else. Why can't we do 1 pool? We're the 5th largest city in the state of Indiana and we don't have a pool. It's kind of sad. And I ask you guys to reconsider, please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Next speaker is George Stoya. Public expression is now closed. Is there a motion to adjourn? Councilman Higgs, motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Warple. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Have a good evening.